A slightly clickbait title and thumbnail, I understand, but for a good reason. I did the same thing for AEW, and it was an exaggeration. I made a video with the same thing, except it was about AEW, and that was when CM Punk returned to WWE, and it truly felt like the end times for AEW. Right now, feels a little like similar for WWE. Obviously, WWE is not going anywhere. Neither is AEW. I mean, but like really, obviously WWE isn't going anywhere. But all this stuff that's going on is just crazy. It's not just the Vince McMahon stuff. There's a lot of weird and bad stuff going on right now with WWE. We're going to get into all of that. We don't really need to get into the Vince McMahon stuff. We all read the thing, and plus this video is coming out like 6 days late. So, I'm not going to get into that. What I will say is, Vince got himself into a little bit of an oopsie. He did a little bit, but allegedly. Vince is just a disgusting person. I mean, and if the things that were mentioned are true, I don't want to say anything like we've heard it all before. I don't know. I'm not surprised, but it is just disgusting. We don't need to get into it right now all at once. And it's not just Vince McMahon. There are stars involved with this. There is not mentioned by name, but a lot of people do believe that one description fits Brock Lesnar, and that's the reason why he wasn't in the Rumble. There are rumors that he was supposed to be in the Rumble, but he was replaced. I think he was replaced by Braun Breaker. And speaking of the Royal Rumble, there is so much that has happened. There's so much that happened at that event. For one thing, there is the Royal Rumble press conference when Triple H was asked 3 times about what's been going on with the lawsuit, and he, instead of kind of saying anything of value, he basically just said he was flexing about the $1 billion worth Netflix deal or whatever he said. He said he didn't want to get into the negatives and wanted to focus on a positive show. The problem with that is that the Royal Rumble was not a very good show. Both the Rumbles were just okay, and the Women's Royal Rumble, the thing that started it all, was better, I thought. I just thought, it was, not even better, but it just, there were more surprises, I guess, but, there weren't even really that much. I mean, Naomi is back, but also this kind of confirms that because Sasha or Mercedes Moné wasn't in that Rumble, she's probably definitely going to AEW. And you could say a lot about the men's stars in the Royal Rumble. Andrade is back in WWE, but there's also no Okada. And weirdly, no Shawn Spears. I thought for sure Shawn Spears was going to be in there, and he wasn't. But that is all nothing compared to the CM Punk injury. There are rumors that he tore both of his triceps, and he's going to be out for a year. What is going on with CM Punk? He just arrived there. And you can go on Twitter and say that he's not injury prone. He's a little bit injury prone. And he's not the only one. But it's just, the guy can't catch a break. He goes to AEW, becomes the champion, gets injured. He comes back to AEW, becomes the champion, gets injured. And then, or even, he was injured, but he was also, suspended. Then he goes to WWE, and 1.5 matches later, because the Royal Rumble, he was in there for 10 minutes, and he's injured, and apparently he's going to be out for a year. Which is just so. I mean, they could do the same thing with Cody Rhodes. When Cody Rhodes got injured, he returned at the Rumble. They could do the same thing with CM Punk. Maybe in 1 year, if he's ready to go, he can just come back at the Rumble. So think about all the bad stuff that's going on with WWE right now. It really feels like that, there was this AEW curse where they just couldn't go a day without something bad happening in that company. Whether it was one of the stars saying something on Twitter, or the Chris Jericho, allegations, or whatever it was, Tony Khan doing something, whatever it was, AEW for a very long time couldn't catch a break, and now it seems like, okay, MJF is gone, but, they're okay now. AEW is, I still think the show is pretty bad, but in terms of the stories that were coming out of that locker room, for the most part, it's okay. it's decent now. Like AEW is kind of having a breather right now. Everybody's talking about the Vince McMahon thing, but like just think about everything that's going wrong. So Vince McMahon, this thing comes out and he has to basically leave the company. He has resigned, and everyone's saying it's not enough. I agree, it's not enough. It's not just Vince McMahon that was involved in there, because we have people like allegedly Brock Lesnar doing stuff, and like Mania is screwed now, because like think about what we could have gotten at WrestleMania. Now there's no Brock Lesnar. Now there's no CM Punk. CM Punk is injured. Seth Rollins was also injured. So we've got Cody versus Roman again, which is a rematch from last year. I'm not interested in seeing that again this year. I know I'm probably in the minority on that. I wanted to see Rock versus Roman. It looks like we're getting Rhodes Reigns Part 2. So there's Vince out. There are stars that are injured, and then there's Triple H being an absolute buffoon at the Royal Rumble press conference. He claimed that he didn't even read it. Like, you didn't read it? First of all, it's a lie. Monday Night Raw is on very soon tonight. I guess we will see what happens. Maybe CM Punk might say something, but it's looking like right now he's out for a year. Seth was already injured. No Brock. Vince is out. Triple H is an idiot, and there's just a lot of bad stuff going on with WWE right now. Let's say WWE doesn't exist in 2 years, that's not true. It's not going to happen. But let's just say WWE in 2 years is completely gone. I think it's safe to say that January 25th, you could mark that down on the calendar and say that's the day WWE died. It's not the day that everything shut down, but you could probably say that's the time when everything started to go wrong if WWE didn't exist in 2 years, right? And that's kind of what I mean by the title of this video. And same thing when I made the one about AEW. If AEW went out of business, goes out of business in 2 years, you could mark down the day that CM Punk returns to WWE as one of the defining moments of the downfall of AEW. That's what I mean by this title. That's what I meant back then. But we are on the road to WrestleMania. We're going to see how things play out. Raw is starting very soon. I might try to get this video out before then, but we'll see. AEW is on Wednesday, and I'm thinking about starting this new thing where I want to start this new series where I review the show afterwards with a friend of mine. The friend is not a wrestling fan whatsoever, and so this guy's going to be complaining about everything the whole time, and I kind of got to explain to him the wrestling business. I kind of just need to explain why things happen and why, wrestling is corny and silly, but why exactly something happened and what he is watching. I mean, this guy, he doesn't even watch UFC, so I think it would be a very interesting dynamic to have myself, who is a huge wrestling fan for both companies, and watching the show with him, who knows nothing about wrestling. But we'll see if that ever happens. I don't know. That's pretty much it. Good night.